Okay, hello again. Now we're on to our fourth card, and this one is going to be made with the Blushing Bride Love You Always Specialty Designer Series paper and the Blushing Bride foil paper. We're going to use Blushing Bride cardstock for the card base, cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4, folded. Okay, this is the card that we're going to be doing right here, and this is just love on the outside, and then this is a pop-up card. I know some people call them pop-up, some people call them pop-out, so it kind of pops out and it kind of pops up, so I guess it doesn't really matter what you call it, but anyway, isn't that cool? And you can use any stamped image to put in here, as long as you make sure that it doesn't stick out when you fold it. It doesn't stick out the side or the top or over the fold lines here. Okay, looks kind of difficult, but it's very, very easy, and you'll see in just a minute. All right, so put that. So we need that. We need this is going to go on the front. Oh, I made a mistake on this card, and you could probably see it if you looked really closely. Hopefully you don't do the same thing. I had my ribbon, and I put it around the card, and I really wasn't paying attention. You can use either side of the ribbon. Well, I was going to use this side right here, so I did. I put it on my card front, but then when I tied my bow, I tied it backwards. And I already had it stuck down before I even realized that it was the wrong side. So anyway, I can take this off. I just didn't do it because I didn't want to take a chance of tearing anything, but I can take it off and fix it and put some more ribbon on there. But anyway, that's the kind of crazy stuff I do. Okay, so you're going to, like I said, you're going to have the Blushing Bride cardstock as a card base. You're going to have the 4 by 5 1/4 piece of designer paper on the front. Okay, you're going to have a piece of white, and this is probably about, I don't know, 2 3/4 by 4. And you're going to be cutting that out. We used this set already once. It is the Tasteful Labels dies. We're going to use this one right here. It's really cute. I like that. I like this set and the other set we used. I use them a lot. Okay, so we've cut that out, and it leaves this really cute edge around here. You can't see it too well on the back, but on the front, I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyway. Okay, so we're going to do that. This is for your love that you're going to cut out. And then we have another piece for the flower and the leaves. Okay, and then we have the inside piece. Let me move this out of the way here. We have the inside piece, which is cut to 5 by 7.5. It's scored and folded in the middle at 3 3/4. So 5 by 7.5, scored and folded in the middle, which is 3 3/4. And again, you're going to get the directions with all the measurements, so you don't have to write them down or remember what they are. You'll have them all to look at anytime you want. Okay, so this piece is really easy. You might think it's hard, but like I said, it's not. All right, let's set this aside for now. Now, and get our card base. Again, I've already done several things, so we wouldn't take up so much time. I think I've already been on here like 2.5 hours, maybe, even longer. Okay, so I'm getting tired. Okay, remember what I said? When you get the designer series paper, you're going to put it on something. You always want to put it down first. Make sure it's the right measurements. Make sure you don't need to trim it anywhere. And then you're going to always look to see if you have ribbon. And if you have ribbon, you want to make sure you put it on the top layer before you glue the whole thing down. So again, I've taken my ribbon here, and let me see, it's usually about, I don't know, 5.5, 6 inches. And just wrap it around. I've used the seal again, the Stampin' Seal. Just put a little layer down here and Bended it over the sides and pushed it down. If you've been in my classes before, you know that this is what I do, and you know how to do it already, I think so. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the front first. All right, I got the ribbon around where I wanted it. Just want it like about 1 inch from the bottom. Okay, I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue again. I'm almost in the habit of calling it green glue because I've listened to people call it green glue for so long. Without teaching my classes, I've been watching lots of videos, and most of them say green glue. Okay, so all right, I'm going to go pick that up. I'm going to make sure I got my card opening the right way. Ask me why I do that too. And I'm going to lay my designer paper down. Again, I'm going to make sure I have it even before I smash it down really well. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to open it up, grab my bone folder, and there's no embossing, so I can push it down as hard as I want this time. Make sure you get all the corners, all the edges, because that just makes it adhere to the card so much better. Okay, so we have this part done. All right, now I've already die cut my label here. I've already die cutted my love out of the Blushing Bride foil, and I've glued it down to my label. Okay, I'm just going to go right, like on the right side towards the bottom, because you want to have enough room up here on the top for your flower. Okay, so I've already got the glue dots on here. Now I'm not putting it over any ribbon this time, so I did put one in the middle just to make sure it doesn't sag. And I got a lot of glue on my fingers. So I try to get it off, but usually it doesn't come off unless you scrub. I get ink all over my fingers, I get glue, and usually at the end of the night I have to wash my hair. That's the only thing that takes it all off, is washing my hair. I don't know why. I guess because it gets down in little pores of your fingers, which is, it's really weird, because I had to go when I was getting custody of my granddaughter. I had to go and get my fingerprints taken. They took my fingerprints like 10 times, and they could not get a single fingerprint. They said that the pads on my fingers, I don't know so much from using them, because I used to be a letter sorter at the post office, and I'd either be keying on the keyboard or I'd be throwing the letters. So I don't know if they just got worn off or what. They could not get a fingerprint. So I don't know what I'm going to do or what they're going to do. If I ever do anything bad, they're never going to be able to find me. Hopefully that's not going to happen. All right, so I've got my love on here, and I'm just going to kind of line it up again so that it's equal distance from both sides and even. It's not even. All right. Now, when you glue the love on here, the love comes in 2 pieces. The L is by itself. The die is all one, but when it punches out, the L is by itself, and then you have the OVE. That way, you can put it either going straight across, you can put it like diagonal, you can put it whichever way you want. So this one, the other ones I did diagonal. This one I did kind of straight as I could get it, and I just put the L right there, okay? So you put on the biggest part first, and then you can just line the L up with it on the side. Okay, now I've already, like I did before, I've already stamped and colored my flowers, and this time I used the Blushing Bride Light and Dark blends. Again, the Granny Apple Green. I just love Granny Apple Green. And then the Daffodil Delight. Yeah, Daffodil Delight for the middle. Okay. All right, you can see where I took the darker blender. And again, I went where the dark lines are. And then I took the lighter blender and I just went over it really lightly. So I wanted to get a big color differentiation there. I think I said that right. Okay, so this time I did glue the flowers on the back before I put the flower down, just so I can show you that. And what we're going to do is this is just going to go right here. You don't want it hanging off the sides or the top. So you just want to make sure that you got it right up there, right next to the edge. Now, when I put my love on here, I laid my flower down first so I would know where it was going to be, and then I put the love on so that my flower did not cover up the words. All right, so that's a good idea to do before you glue the love on. Put the label down where you want it. Lay the flower on top, or you can even actually go ahead and glue it down, either way, and then put the love on. Okay, now this is going to be hanging off. Okay, part of it's going to be on the label, and part of it's going to be hanging off. I'm going to put glue on here, but I want to put a dimensional behind here because I don't want it to like lay down flat on one side and be up high on the other side. So I went and you can see it. I put the dimensionals under there like that. And so I'm going to do that now. Excuse me. Okay. So I want the dimensionals again. It's going to go on these two petals right here. I'm going to hold that down. I'm going to put them there and there. Now, where this other part is going to go on the label, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. The label is what I call it. I'm going to put glue on this side so that it will stick. Okay, so I know I need the glue between where the leaves are. And I'm just going to put a little bit like right there. Okay. That way it will be on there steady and it won't move around. I'm going to take these off first. Sure would be a lot easier if I had somebody sitting here that I was talking to instead of talking to the air. I just feel so weird doing that. Right here, I just got it right on the side of that now. Okay, so my dimensionals are up here. I'm going to press those down real good. And then the glue is over on this side. And I'm just going to take my bone folder and smash that down. Now you could put some under the leaves too if you want. But since I have them glued underneath here, I didn't figure that I needed any more there. So, okay. That's a little bit high up there, but I'll just kind of move it down when I put it in the envelope. Okay, so the last thing to do is to put your bow on. And again, make sure you have them both going the same way. Okay, let me get my glue dot here. And I want this just kind of to go in the middle because that's where my label is. And I just put a glue dot there. And you can always use more than one glue dot. You don't have to just use one if you don't, if you want to use more. And I want to just straighten this out so I can make sure I get it even on there. Okay, and push it down. Now, this one again, you see where the ribbon underneath is wider than the center of my bow. So again, I'm going to get my, take your pick tool, if I can find where I lay, oh, there it is. And I'm going to grab another glue dot. And I'm going to stick it under here, under the ribbon on the bottom. And I'm just going to push it down and kind of squeeze this together. Okay? Squeeze that together. And then, let me get the top under there better. Okay, so now you can't tell that the bow is not on there, tied right on the ribbon. I need a little, I think I need another glue dot under there because it is sticking up just a little bit right there. But I'll do that later. Okay, and then the best time to trim these is after you get it on the card, because then you can hold one end and trim, and this will be steady. Okay, so that's that part. Now, let me show you how to do the inside. I think it's really cool. Okay, so you're going to take, you've got your piece of cardstock. Again, it's 5 inches by 7.5 inches. You're going to score down the middle just like on a regular card. You're going to score it, but instead of it being 4 1/4, it's going to be 3 3/4. Okay, so 3 3/4 on this side, 3 3/4 on this side. Then you're going to take your ruler and you're going to put it on the score line, and you're going to go 2.5 inches down. Then you want to take a really light pencil here. Let's see, there it is on the side. All right, 2.5, and you're just going to put a little mark there, okay? Then you're going to go up here on the left, or the right and the left of the score line. And you're going to do 2.5 inches again. So 2.5 inches, I'll put a little mark right there. And let's see. Remember, it's from the score line over. It's not from the edge of the card. It's from the score line each way. So I'll put a little mark there. Okay. Now, you can, if you have a paper trimmer that has a score blade on it, you could put this in there and go ahead and score it with your score blade. But to me, it's a lot harder because you can't see exactly where the middle is when you're, when you're lining it up like that. You can't see where the middle is to score it. So what I do, it's a lot easier. I just take my my stamping pad. You can use a stamping pad. You can use a mouse pad. You can be anything that's just a little bit squishy. You're going to lay your paper on there, okay? And you want this little, the marks, the V, that makes like the V, you want that at the top, okay? Then you're going to take a ruler again, and you're just going to lay it down from the top mark right there to the mark in the middle, okay? Make sure that you got it lined up. All right, and then you're just going to take your bone folder, or you might have a scoring tool or whatever you use, and then you're just going to make a score line. Just go across it like 3 times, and that's going to leave you that score line there. Then you're going to do this side the same way. You're going to go from this dot at the top to that dot at the bottom. Again, you're going to score a couple times, and then you have this V. I think you can see it because I've already folded it, so you should be able to see it. Okay, after you get the score lines done, now you haven't folded your card yet. You've only scored it. So after you get the fold mark done, where this is, I like to go ahead and stamp it first. Okay, now this is what we're going to have on the inside. We're going to have a stamp of the big flower, and then a stamp of the you so much, love you so much over top of it. And then the smaller flower that we already colored is going to go up at the top here. Now, I'm not going to put leaves on it just to save time, but you put the leaves on the back just like you did on the front. You just glue the leaves to the back of the flower. All right, so I'm going to get out, because I'm going to do a line stamp that needs to be straight. I'm going to use my Stamparatus. I love my Stamparatus because it gets things straight. And you can see, well, maybe you can see, but it's got lines, grid lines here, where you can line your stamps up so that they're straight. Okay, so you want to stamp the flower first. Let me get out my magnets out of the way and lay my paper right there. Now I've already lined up my stamp so that it's going to stamp down here on the near the bottom where I want it. And I'm going to use my Blushing Bride ink. I'm just going to ink the stamp up really well. Okay, let me lay that down on an even surface. And I just want to ink it up really well. This needs to be re-inked. That's why I need to make sure I ink it well. Okay, now, when you're using the Stamparatus, it's great because you don't have to worry. If you get ink on the sides of the stamp, it's not going to touch your paper. The only thing that's going to touch your paper is the surface. All right, so I'm going to lay that down. You want to just kind of press it down, just like you do when you stamp, count to 5 or so. And then you're going to lift it up. Now, because you've held it in place with the magnets, okay, see? It wasn't quite dark enough on that side. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to just take my ink and stamp it, get it darker where I didn't get the ink before. Yeah, I really need to ink my pad up, okay? All right, so then it's going to be in the same place. I'm going to make sure my paper's right up there where I had it. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to press down on it. Now, see, I did get ink on the inside of the cover here, but it's not going to hurt my paper. Oops, shoot, I did get it on this piece, too. I didn't mean to get it on. I got another stamp there, but I didn't want to take it off because it's so hard to get even. But it seems like I got a little bit of ink there, but that's all right. I'm just showing you this, so. All right, I'm going to go ahead and press this down. if you make cards with Stampin' Up! Products and you sell them, you are supposed to, by law, have their copyright. And so that's what this is. It's their copyright. And like I said, it says down at the bottom, you can't see it, but it says at Stampin' Up! So that they know what company it is. All right, and that's what happened here. Okay, so I've got my stamp. It's still not quite dark enough as I want it, so I'm just going to do it again. See, you can keep doing this to make it as dark as you want. Make sure that's off this time. And I'm going to just, you just want to press over it like this again. You can use your palm of your hand. You can use your fingers. Doesn't really matter. All right, much better. Okay, excuse me. I'm going to go ahead. I just use an old washcloth with water on it, or my stamp, the spray stamp cleaner on it. I don't like to use it on my photopolymer stamps, because I'm afraid it might fog it up a little bit. All right, so I've got that one already. All right, another great thing about the Stamparatus is it actually has two plates. It has one here and one here, but I'm not using that one, so I took it off. But you can also put it on both sides, and you're ready to stamp. This works great if you're doing 10 cards the same. You don't have to keep lining it up every time. You don't have to worry about it getting crooked. Now, I've already lined it up, I think, where I want it. So let's make sure it is. Yes, it looks like it. Okay, so this time I'm going to use the Memento black ink because I want it to show up really well. Okay, I'm just going to put it across my stamp like that. Make sure I got it all over the place. Okay, and again, I'm going to just fold the lid down. I'm going to press down on it here. I really, I guess, need to take those stamps off because I would have been really upset if I was planning on giving this card to somebody. Okay, still not, missed a little bit in the middle there, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp it again. Make sure my card's up in the corner still. And hopefully it'll be right in the right place. There we go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my rad back over here, clean this off, and keep the plates clean. Now you can actually, if you have the other plate on here, you can actually stamp 4 different things really quickly because you just line them up and make as many cards as you want just by turning the plate over or switching them. Either way. All right, let's close that up. So be careful if you have this. Be careful with the magnets because they will stick together really well and they will smash your finger. Go ahead and take the stamp off there. Put this one off here. Okay. This side now. Okay. All right, now, so after you have it stamped, you're going to go ahead and fold it and burnish it down. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever told you before, but paper has a grain, just like cloth does. So when you score it, you'll see that you're going to have like a mountain part, and then on the other side you're going to have like a valley part that's got a little crease in the middle there. You always want to make sure that you fold it so that the valley part is on the inside and the mountain part is on the outside. That way your paper lays a lot flatter and it's a lot easier to get it straight. Okay, so when you score it, they're going to have the valley side and you're going to have a mountain side. You want to fold it so that the mountain side is outside. So in other words, when you have it in your whatever you're scoring it on and you score it this way, that's going to make the valley and it's going to make this side push out a little bit. Does that make sense? I think I just told you totally wrong. I told you the opposite of what you're supposed to do. Excuse me. The mountain side goes on the inside. Okay, so when you score it, you're going to get the valley. You want to turn it over to where the mountainside is, and you want to fold it that way. Okay, because this piece of paper has already been stretched. It's already been stretched by the bone folder going this way. So when you fold it, the paper's already stretched, so it folds flatter and straighter. Okay. All right, so after you get the card folded in half, what you're going to do is you're going to take your fingers and like put them just up here at the score line, and you're going to fold this line towards you. And I just kind of turn it around, push it down with my finger. Then I take my bone folder and press it down really good. Okay. Then you're going to do the same thing with this side. You're going to fold it down with your fingers. You're going to press it down. Take your bone folder and fold it really good. Then when you get that done, you want to fold it in half because you want to make sure that your sides and your bottom is even. Okay, so you just fold it in half, and then you're going to take your bone folder again, and you're just going to fold over that really well. Okay, so you got this V, and that's where you're going to put the other flower. Okay, before you put the other flower on, you want to go ahead and you want to glue it in your card, because you want to make sure, like I said, that whatever you're gluing on here does not stick out the sides or the top. So when you get ready to glue it, because this is going to be poking out, you do not want to put glue in here. Okay? You want to just put glue like below that score line, around this side, up there, up there. Okay. Now, because this is going to move a lot when you open it and fold, I'm just going to put a little bit more glue right there and right there. You can, again, you can use snail, seal, whatever the new one is. Anything you want, as long as you don't get it in the V. Okay, so what you're going to do next is you're going to just kind of fold it here and don't put your hands in the glue. You're going to open up your card and you're going to butt this against that fold. And you want to leave like 1/4 of an inch on the bottom and 1/4 of an inch on the top. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to try to do that. Now you're going to lay this down, and then you're going to lay this down. You're going to press it down with your hands again. Okay, and then you're going to open it up, take your bone folder, and make sure it's down, especially near these folds up here. Okay. Alright, just want to make sure that's adhered really well. Okay. Then you want to take a pencil and go ahead and erase the little marks that you made here. I just use, this is my, actually it's a glue remover. It's kind of dirty, but I just take that because it makes an excellent eraser as well. And just take my marks off right there. Okay. All right, now. Okay, so now another very important thing. Whenever you're getting ready to glue your flower, butterfly, whatever you're going to put on here, you want to make sure that you're only putting glue on half of it. It's going to go on the left side of this fold, and you want the glue on the left side of that fold. If you put it all on there, it's not going to fold, it's not going to come out, it's not going to do anything except get stuck. So you want to make sure, okay, I got this side here is where I need my glue. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. You could use glue, you can use seal, like I said, you can use the tear and tape, you know, whatever you like. Okay, so you want to make sure, I want my flower to be like right about there. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of stick it down with my finger. Hold it down there, and like I said, I've only got glue on the left side. I'm going to take my bone folder and I want to smash it really well. Now, if you were going to put flowers on here, you can see that this does fold over the line here, but that's okay because it's not glued down. And when I fold my card shut, it's just going to shut. It's not going to bend my leaves or anything. So you need to make sure where you're putting them that they don't go over the fold line, because then they will get scrunched in there. Okay, so just make sure you lay it down first before you glue it, so you can make sure that it's going to fold correctly. Okay. And that's it. Easy peasy again. Okay. Don't you just love this paper? I just think it's so beautiful. I'm going to definitely fix my bow because I don't like that at all. Okay. All right. I will be back with our fifth and our last card in just a few minutes.